Ladies and gentlemen, hello, you're welcome to MWM, and we are live from our studios here in Pennsylvania. In our political affairs, we are examining the agenda by African continental trade. On Friday, August 7th, 2020, the Secretariat of the African Continental Trade Agreement, AfCFTA, launched its initiative on guide trade. 8 countries were participating in the guide trade initiative. They are Cameroon, Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Mauritius, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Tunisia. Speaking at the launch, the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, Wambekele Mane, revealed, among other things, that 96 products, including ceramics, rubber, coffee, tea, car batteries, etc., are being traded among member countries on the continent. Let us listen to it.
I'm reminded of the words of President Kagame. He said that many are celebrating with us. They celebrate in part. They don't think that as Africans we can do it. But today we are demonstrating that indeed we can do it. This phase that we're in, this pilot phase, and linking liberalization of goods.
The movement
of these goods,
your phone in the background, please,
is critical from a logistics point of view. And so we will invite other logistics companies around the African continent to join this initiative. I want to congratulate and thank the CEO of McDan Aviation, Mr. Daniel McCauley, for having the vision to step up and to say, what is it that I can do as an African company to advance the objectives of the AfCFTA. The rest of the world is watching to see whether or not the legal commitments that we have made, whether they are translated into reality. The small medium enterprises, the young entrepreneurs, we must create opportunities for them. And so it is particularly gratifying that the very first consignment under the AfCFTA to be exported has been produced by small medium enterprises, has been produced by smallholder farmers who are now making a concrete contribution to implementation of the AfCFTA. This is the moment the founding mothers and fathers from May 1963 have been longing for. So we have taken the first journey today, and that first journey is a remarkable journey that I hope in 15 years' time, as the World Bank has projected, that in 15 years' time we will have succeeded to lift millions and millions of Africans out of poverty. Of course, it is not going to be easy. Of Of course, there will be disagreement. Of course, there will be disillusionment. Of course, there will be economic setbacks. All of those things will happen. But our resolve must not be tested by the difficulties ahead. Our resolve must be tested by our commitment to uplift millions and millions of Africans out of poverty and to make sure that trade is an instrument of inclusivity, an instrument for Africa's prosperity. Today, we are marking 96 products that are traded by 7 countries. Next year, we perhaps will have a chance to be reminded of the words of President Kagame. He said that many are celebrating.
So in our political affairs program tonight, there is a number of questions we would like to find out. But we are fortunate to be joined on the program, Dr. Farid Atta, who is the head of AfCFTA Coordinating Unit, Trade and Industry Ministry in Ghana. Dr. Farid, how are you, sir? You are welcome to MWM Pennsylvania. Mr. Farid, can you hear me loud and clear now? Well, we are having problems with your mic. Can you hear me now? It looks like your mic is muted, Mr. Farid. Can you hear me loud and clear? Well, Mr. Farid is having problems with his mic. Let me go back to him behind the studio and work that thing out.
I'm reminded of the words of President Kagame. He said that many are celebrating with us. They celebrate in part because they don't think that as Africans we can do it. But today, we are demonstrating that indeed we can do it. This phase that we're in, this pilot phase of connecting and linking the liberalization of goods with the movement of these goods, the same goods, is critical from a logistics point of view. And so we will invite other logistics companies around the African continent to join this initiative. But I want to congratulate and thank the CEO of McDan Aviation, Mr. Daniel McCauley, for having the vision to step up and to say, what is it that I can do as an African company to advance the objectives of the AfCFTA. The rest of the world is watching to see whether or not the legal commitments that we have made, whether they are translated into reality. The small medium enterprises, the young entrepreneurs, we must create opportunities for them. And so it is particularly gratifying that the very first consignment under the AfCFTA to be exported has been produced by small medium enterprises, has been produced by smallholder farmers who are now making a contribution, a concrete contribution to implementation of the AfCFTA. This is the moment the founding fathers from May 1963 have been longing for. So we have taken the first journey today.
Hello, Mr. Atta, can you hear me?
That first journey is a remarkable journey.
Okay, wonderful.
That I hope in 15 years' time, as the World Bank has projected, that in 50.
Okay, now we are joined back onto the studio, Mr. Sorry, I'll keep on calling Mr. Please, I beg you. I mean, just
no problem.
Dr. Farid Atta. He is the head of AfCFTA Coordination Unit. Trade and Industry Ministry of Ghana. Mr. Dr. Farid, something happened over the weekend, within the week in Accra. What does the launch of the guided trade by the AfCFTA on Friday significant? I know Africa needs to do some trade among member countries. That whole thing that happened, what does it signify, Doctor?
Okay, thank you. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you. We can all hear you loud and clear now.
Very good. Yes, Friday was the launch of the guided trade, which signifies the commencement of what we call commercially meaningful trading. Now, you would recall that on the 1st of January 2021, the AfCFTA launched the start of trading. Now, since then, what the AfCFTA and the state parties have been doing was to complete the negotiations and other things that would now enable state parties to actually start trading. So by July this year, 25th of July, the member states, when they met, the state parties, ministers of trade, when they met, came to the conclusion that the level at which we are in terms of the negotiation was sufficient for us to start trading. And so they gave the order for trading to start. And that is what exactly happened. In the directive, we acknowledge the fact that you cannot expect 44 countries to start trading all at once. That would be a recipe for mayhem. And so these 7 or 8 countries, depending on which ones you are counting, that were chosen, was supposed to be the pilot countries linking all the 5 regions: Central Africa, Western Africa, Northern Africa, Eastern Africa, and Southern Africa, linking these regions just to be able to test how effective the intra-regional relations in terms of trade would be. It is also a pilot to be able to test the documents, the AfCFTA certificates of origin that needs to be issued, most importantly also the tariff schedules. And so on Friday, what was tested was just more than countries moving goods. It's a whole institutional setup that, if it proves right, would then enable other countries to join in and actually start exchanging goods at the preferential rates that Africa has decided to go on. And that is very significant for us, because then, for the first time in our whole history, we have started this journey of economic integration, moving goods across our borders without or with very little hindrance, at least to start with, and eventually free of hindrance all over. So that is what this is about.
Okay, we hear some 29 countries have submitted their tariff schedule, as well as 44 countries who have submitted their instrument of ratification. Can you throw more? I know you've spoken about it, but can you throw more light on that again? Because you're talking about 29
44 countries have ratified.
Yes.
As we speak now.
Right.
And out of that 44, actually, more countries have submitted their tariff schedule. About 47 countries have submitted their tariff schedule. Some countries that have not even ratified have submitted their tariff schedule. The 29 countries that you are talking about are those tariff schedules that have been verified. Right. When you submit your tariff schedule, before you can use it for trading, the AfCFTA Secretariat needs to verify and make sure that they are in compliance with the AfCFTA rules and conditions and regulations. And so 29 has been already verified in time for this start of trade, and the rest are still being verified. What it means is that now an e-tariff book containing the 29 countries, including ECOWAS as a bloc, is available online for exporters to be able to see which goods can go into which countries under the liberalized rates.
Right. I see from the list of the countries over here that the North Africans are highly represented in the first 8. What happened to Nigeria? Because they happen to be a giant on the West African sub-region. Nigeria's name is not on the list. Why is this?
As I tried to explain,
right.
The essence of this exercise was not to do intra-regional, but inter-regional. We're trying to link up the 5 regions of ECOWAS, of AU. And AU has 5 regions as follows: Northern region, Central region, Southern region, Western region, and Eastern region. So all those regions are represented. Now, all these regions have regional economic communities, and trading is already taking place within them. What we wanted to do was to test what if some good moves outside that REC. If goods move outside ECOWAS to say EAC, what happens? Or to UMOA, what happens? Or to SADC, or what happens? So this is how that's why the countries were chosen. They were actually chosen not to eliminate anybody, but to be able to test the inter-regional, linkages.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me ask this. So what are some of the benefits of trading using the AfCFTA document and rules? What are some of the benefits?
The AfCFTA document has 2 conditions. The AfCFTA has 2 principal conditions that needs to be met. One is the rules of origin criteria, that goods that will be traded needs to be goods produced in Africa. Now, what it means is that if we have to send a good from Ghana to Kenya or to Mauritius or to Tanzania under the AfCFTA, we need to prove that these goods originated either wholly from Ghana or from Ghana and other African countries. Now, because most of the African countries are all agrarian countries, we do not expect to be exporting raw materials from one country to the other. So the first thing that the AfCFTA does is it gives us a platform now to try to industrialize, to add value to the goods that we are producing.
Right.
The second thing is, because now we can import and export at preferential rates, African commodities in Africa will be more competitive than importing from third continents. And so this is very important, that over a period of time, we hope when finally the whole process of liberalization has kicked in, to even export at 0 tariff. So you move your goods from one country to the other almost at a 0 tariff, and that's what is exciting about it.
Yeah, it's a very laudable idea and very exciting. So can you give us an estimation of how much we are going to talk about if Africa should start trading among themselves, in estimation, a figure in estimation? How
Africa's current GDP is estimated at 3.4 trillion. It is estimated that within 10 years, this should reach 7.6 trillion. That would solidly put Africa as the 7th largest economy in the world. And so there is profit to them. Then it is expected that within the next 5 years, about 30 million people in Africa would be lifted out of extreme poverty, and about 70 million from peripheral poverty. Right. So that's about 100 million. And then if you multiply that figure by the dependency factor, then that's quite a huge amount across Africa. So these are some of the benefits that you immediately gain from this.
All right. I know I'm supposed to take only 20 minutes of your time, but let me just go into, there is something happening in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea. Where do they place in this initiative that just commenced recently in Ghana?
Mali, Burkina Faso, and I believe you are you're talking about the current changes in government and other things.
Yeah.
Mali, Burkina Faso are members of the African Union. And African Union has strict rules regarding the issues of democratic change in various countries. And so those would be the guiding principles. If under those rules they are under sanctions, and some of them are under sanctions, others are under limited sanctions, and so on and so forth, then until those sanctions are lifted, we will not be able to do too much about it. But we hope that they are all working towards resolving the issues. These issues in their countries are real. They are real issues. And I believe for those of us from Ghana, we've seen it happen to us before. Democracy is not easy to establish in some of our given some of our conditions, and
Right.
therefore we are hoping and we are praying that our brothers in those countries will find solutions to their problem that would enable them to come on board as early as possible.
Right. So I can confidently say that this guided trade initiative by the AfCFTA, the final pill to liberate millions of Africa from poverty. We can confidently say that.
If it works, yes. And I have no doubt that it will work, yes.
Let's look at what is happening in our cocoa forest areas where most cocoa farm forest reserve are being encroached by our so-called local name called galamsey. When it comes to cocoa, what are some of the difficulties that we are going to face in terms of trade?
The cocoa industry is 160 billion worth industry, out of which only 6 billion comes to Africa. And Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire together produce more than 50% of the world's cocoa. And yet we're talking about an industry of 160 billion and only 6 billion coming to Africa. So even before whatever is happening now, there is a lot of structural adjustment that needs to be done to enable the cocoa industry to really occupy a proper place in African economies. You must probably be aware that Ghana and ECOWAS have already set up a joint system in that area. And therefore, I think what is happening with the galamsey and other things, these are economic, manifestations that from time to time will come up. And as you may be aware, the government is seriously following up, looking for solutions to that. But Ghana has been known for cocoa. Ghana has been known for gold. It was not for no reason. It was not for anything that we were named the Gold Coast. Right. So the two primary products that Ghana have been known for are the products that are involved in this tussle for economic superiority. And we are hoping that we should be able to find a good balance in terms of being able to still provide be the world's leading producer of gold and the world's leading producer of cocoa side by side. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Farid, let me ask two last questions, then I'll let you go because I know you are such a busy person. How have European Union welcomed this trade initiative?
There is always some concern that Europe may not be happy or America may not be happy. And we wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because yes, Africa has been the world's breadbasket for the last 400 years.
Yeah.
But I think, to be fair, we have had very good discussions with the European Union on this. They do also appreciate that the advantages it gives them is having one common market enables them to invest more properly. Instead of investing in 54, 55 different countries with different regulations, eventually there will be a bigger market for them to invest. And some of them have already started taking advantage of that. If you've been following Ghana's economic trends over the last 2 years or so, 6 of the 7 car manufacturing giants are already pitching camp in Ghana and producing. VW, Toyota, and all of them are here. They are not here for the 30 million Ghanaians. They are here to be able to access the African market. And so, in a way, that has been a positive, turnout. And we think we would want to highlight that which unites us and which makes us work together more than that which could divide us. Definitely, there will be issues along the way, but we are ready to work through that to be able to have a partnership that fully involves the whole world. Don't forget, yeah, Africa is still a part of the global family. And
Right.
therefore, what we are doing is not intended to cut us off from the global economy. Thank you.
Dr. Atta, I just want to say I'm so excited listening to you speak because I can just sense some hope when it comes to trading in Africa. I will let you go, but I would like to have you back on this program so that we can go detail because when it comes to trade, Africa is a virgin. There are good things that can happen. So, Dr. Fayed, I want to say thank you so much. We team and members of MWM Pennsylvania are so excited to have you as a guest on our program.
Thank you. And I'm glad to be here.
We will
and
be
anytime you call me, if I'm available, I'll be able to work with you. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was Dr. Farid Atta. He's the head of AfCFTA Coordination Unit, Trade and Industry Ministry of Ghana. This trade was launched over a week. And then when you read the guideline, you can tell a lot of prospects. Unfortunately, today's program is just going to be 26 minutes because Dr. Farid needs to attend another very important meeting. But until next week, I want to promise you, I'll bring Dr. Farid back onto the show, and then we'll go deep into what is transpiring in terms of trade in Africa. God bless you all, and I just want to say thank you all for being part of today's program. This is MWM Pennsylvania, and my name is Martin Pedigo. Stay tuned, subscribe, and share. Dr. Farid, I'll be calling you every Sunday afternoon. We have political affairs. 5 Stay tuned. See you there. This is MWM Pennsylvania.